Well, the Lee County Sheriff's Office wants all residents to be aware of a scam. The law enforcement agency says they have received multiple calls about someone pretending to be a Lee County deputy. The caller is using names of people on the Lee County Sheriff's Office staff. The scam caller is also making false claims about a warrant for missed jury duty and then demands payment. This is a scam. If you get a call like this one, please do not provide any personal or financial information. Remember that no law enforcement agency will ever ask for money over the phone. The Tuscaloosa River Market also wants you to be aware of a scam. According to the River Market, there is a scammer inviting food trucks to the market and asking them to pay $120 per Saturday for the month of January. Now, the name of the scam caller is Eunice Pales, and she is using eunicepale055@gmail.com and roseunusual4490@gmail.com email addresses. You are encouraged to not engage in any type of contact with this person. Eunice Pales is not associated with the Tuscaloosa River Market. Well, an investigation is underway after thieves stole $16,000 worth of weight loss drugs. CBS News correspondent Ross DiMattei has the details.
This is kind of very surprising, the way it happened.
Around 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, Bensalem police were called to Smart Choice Pharmacy on Street Road for reports of a strong-arm robbery. Investigators say 3 suspects attacked a delivery driver as he dropped off medication, making off with 2 full boxes of Mounjaro, Ozempic, and Trulicity, GLP-1 weight loss drugs worth about $16,000 combined.
Shocked. Never ever happened in my 10 plus years of retail business.
Bensalem police were just as shocked. They say the suspects came all the way from New York City to steal the medication, eventually fleeing in a gold-colored Toyota and nearly striking a witness who was trying to record the robbery. Officers tracked down the vehicle and the stolen meds minutes later, along with the 3 suspects who now face multiple charges, including robbery, theft, and assault.
It's interesting when someone travels over 2 hours to one specific pharmacy in our township to do something like this. It was definitely targeted. But yes, very interesting on the type of medication they're going after.
Without insurance, these GLP-1 weight loss drugs can easily cost more than $1,000 per month. Since they're so expensive and in demand right now, both the pharmacist and police believe there's already a black market for these medications.
It seems like you may know, I may know somebody that's taken these drugs and have lost a lot of weight. And why not try it? It's out there, why not try it? Not everyone gets hands on it. These are $1,000 drugs. So anyone that's not easily accessible paying for it, then this is the alternate route about it.
Pharmacy employees told police they received suspicious phone calls and emails in the days leading up to the robbery asking about delivery details. Police are hoping this isn't a new crime trend, but they're urging pharmacies to be vigilant.
If someone's making phone calls asking about when deliveries are coming, possibly notify your police department. See who's in the area when you show up to work. Just don't keep your head buried on a phone. Make sure the parking lot's clear before you're accepting, $16,000 worth of product or more. That has a value to some people, and criminals will find it.
In Bensalem Township, Ross DiMattei, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Well, things are very quiet here at the Magnolia State, but let's take a picture across the southeast where there's that cold front that brought us that cold air that we're dealing with tonight. But you see this raining out in portions of Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. Some of this will turn into snow once we wake up on Sunday morning for southeastern portions of Alabama and southwestern portions of Georgia. Exciting for them, but we're just left, unfortunately, with dry conditions and brutally cold temperatures overall. Many of us are passing through that freezing mark. Oxford, the coldest, right around 25 degrees, as we have a slight northwest flow bringing us that cooler, drier air. Now for tonight, temperatures are going to drop very cold down into the low 20s, even some teens out in Coffeyville and Oxford. Make sure to bundle up tonight and to drip your faucets to avoid any pipes bursting as you wake up for your Sunday morning. Kamari?
All right, thanks so much, Michael. Well, an area church is putting the spotlight on the contributions of its women. WCBI's Lakedra Coffey checked in with Friendship Missionary Baptist Church's 3rd Women Conference, where they were strutting to save their souls.
Saturday, a group of men and women heard from women who are making an impact in their communities. Speakers at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church's third annual Women's Conference encouraged women to let their light shine and to strut into their calling that the Lord has given them.
To strut means how you walk, how you carry yourself. And one thing every speaker emphasized, you're not strutting to show off yourself. You're not strutting in vain glory to say, hey, everybody look at me. No, strut means to walk in dignity, walk in faith, because we walk by faith, not by sight. And to strut means to let your light so shine. So that's what the theme is about, strutting to save souls.
Dr. Stanley K. McCrary, pastor of Friendship, said it's something they look forward to and something they want to continue.
A lot of times when we hear men's conference, we're thinking just for the men, women aren't included. Or in this example, women's conference. Yes, we had our deacons here. We had some associate ministers here, as well as myself. I took from that the value of the good thing. Proverbs 18:22, whosoever findeth a wife findeth a good thing, but the B clause, and obtain favor from the Lord. The men here today recognize that their good things is their channel of blessings from the Lord.
Attendees also heard stories of women in the Bible, and the women who told their stories are using their highs and lows to teach who God is and how they can allow their lights to shine. And at the end of the conference, McCrary wants women to come away with this.
You have value. You have worth. You have a light. Let it shine. Not unto shame, but to give the glory to the Lord.
In Columbus, telling your story, Lakedra Coffee, WCBI News.
And McCrary says the conference will be a yearly event for the church. Well, a Columbus resident is stepping up to help residents and giving back to her community, and some of you came out to the event. Stick around and I'll tell you more about it after the break. Welcome back in. Well, a Columbus resident is giving back to her hometown. Moesha Claiborne and others held a give back day for the community. Now, this allowed people to get free household items and clothes. It also gave people a chance to get free water, a hot meal, and much more. Event organizer Moesha Claiborne says this was all to help families during a time of need.
I think it's just shining a light. You know, sometimes you don't have to do too much, but just the small things that when people come in, you see them saying, just thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much. Even just something like a pack of noodles or canned goods is very beneficial that can go way further than we expect it to go. I think it's giving a little bit of hope. It might not be monetary wise, but I think it's a little bit of we just focusing on today and then we can focus on tomorrow. But today, a lot of times people are not thinking about tomorrow. They're thinking about today. And that's all we're trying to do.
And over 20 people showed up to the event, and Claiborne tells WCBI she plans to hold the Give Back Day every 2 months. Well, flu cases have been higher than normal this flu season across the country, and with children being back in school this week, it's good for parents and teachers to take extra precaution. CBS says that doctor visits for flu-like symptoms are at its highest since 1997. Numbers peaked during the holidays, but they have remained stable for the past 2 weeks. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that there has been 18 million flu illnesses this season so far.
I saw several. It seemed like the biggest surge for me was right before Christmas. Now they're still coming in, of course, today. In the last week or two, it hasn't been as much as it was, previously in the last 3 weeks or so.
And if you catch the flu, it's recommended to stay home for 5 to 7 days, depending on your symptoms. Well, CBS News was told the Justice Department said it is now investigating the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey over an alleged conspiracy to impede federal agents. As CBS's Christian Benavidez reports, this comes as tensions continue to escalate in Minnesota.
The investigation into 2 elected Democrats by the Justice Department, first reported by CBS News, stems at least in part from statements made by Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey about ICE and Border Patrol officers deployed to Minneapolis. It's not clear which comments investigators are looking at, but both have been critical of the mass deployment of 3,000 federal agents to the Twin Cities, particularly on the heels of the death of Renee Good and the shooting of a Venezuelan migrant. Both incidents, DHS says, were in self-defense.
We have ICE agents throughout our city and throughout our state who, along with Border Control, are creating chaos.
We must protest loudly, urgently, but also peacefully.
Investigators are looking at an alleged conspiracy to impede federal officers. On X, Mayor Frey called the investigation an attempt to intimidate, while Governor Walz says it is an authoritarian tactic. Protests have escalated this week, leading to clashes between protesters and federal officers. At one point, protesters ripped down a large box from the trunk of an unmarked FBI vehicle. The crowd tore through a second vehicle, too. Amid the chaotic scenes, President Trump reiterated he's willing to invoke the Insurrection Act.
I don't think there's any reason right now to use it, but if I needed it, I'd use it.
Also this week, a family got caught between protesters and ICE agents who deployed a canister of tear gas. Their children were in the car, including a 6-month-old.
He was like lifeless, foam or bubbles coming out of his mouth. I had to give him mouth-to-mouth and CPR. And all I remember is like between every breath I was saying, I'm gonna give you every breath I have until you get yours back.
In a statement, DHS said the family was not targeted. Minneapolis police helped get their children to medical care. Christian Benavidez, CBS News.
Your WCBI First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Michael Socal.
Well, thank you for joining us at this late 10 o'clock show. I'm meteorologist Michael Socal, and it is cold outside Columbus right now. It's beautiful, but very chilly looking at our Mama Justice sky cam. 34 degrees with clear skies out and about, but that's about it. We are very cold right now. Many of us are at that freezing point or even below that, especially our northern areas. Corinth at 25 degrees, New Albany 27, Coffeyville at 25 degrees, and we're only going to drop from here. Many of us seeing temperatures dropping down into the low 20s. We have some cloud cover about northeast Mississippi and western Alabama in spots, but that'll clear out as we head into sunrise for our Sunday morning. But it is chilly. When you factor in the wind, it's not going to be too windy outside, but get a slight breeze going. It's going to feel like temperatures in the teens widespread throughout the area. So make sure to bundle up tonight and to drip those faucets. We don't want pipes bursting as you wake up on your Sunday morning as you're using the sink. But overall, to start off with our Sunday morning, temperatures aren't going to be too forgiving. Make sure to bundle up if you have any morning plans with church. Temperatures staying in those 20s, but it's going to be clear skies, a lot of sunshine, some high top clouds by along 12 o'clock, right at noon, but we're pretty much clear throughout most of the day, but the temperatures are still going to be very chilly. We're going to struggle to reach into the low 40s for our Sunday, and this is the main culprit. We are under a massive trough throughout the area. You can see this covering the entire eastern portion of the United States, and out to the west, it's a big ridge of high pressure, and that's keeping this trough locked in place in this area. And that's going to keep our cooler conditions to start off, even as we head into next week for our Monday and Tuesday. But notice this is our last wave that takes place on Wednesday. This is going to give us a shot of rain on Wednesday. But after that, we actually do have a bit of a warm up. So we're done with the 40s Wednesday on, starting to enter back into the 50s. But until then, we got to deal with the cold. Overnight lows the next 3 nights going to stay in the low 20s, so things aren't going to change too much in the short term. We do have rain, though. Starts on Wednesday. That's our first rain chance, and especially as we head towards the weekend, rain chances increases, and temperatures do as well as we get back into the 50s.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3.
telling your story on WCBI Sports with Avery Cameron.
Another day, another edition of the biggest rivalry in the state, this time on some men's basketball on the hardwoods as Mississippi State hosted Ole Miss in Starkville for the showdown and the bragging rights. Headed to the hump for this rivalry game, and the student section is in full force. Josh Hubbard and the Bulldogs looking to down their rival in front of a sold-out crowd, while Elias Cardamine and the Rebels look for their third straight win. Second possession for the maroon and white. Hubbard on the drive is going to find Sean Jones Jr. Slams it in with both hands. The home team on their feet early on, but there's more from where that came from. The next Mississippi State possession, Hubbard has the ball again, gets past his defender, throws it up to Jones Jr. again, and he posturizes the Rebels. An exclamation point from the Bulldogs out of the gate, and they go up 6-0. Ole Miss looking to respond now. Cardamine throws it back to Travis Perry, who rattles home the three-pointer to silence the crowd, a shot that the Rebels needed in front of athletic director Keith Carter. Moments later, though, Hubbard drives past A.J. Storr, takes the contact, and finishes at the bucket for the and one. What a tough finish for the leading scorer in the conference. Chris Jans going to be pretty happy with what he's seeing tonight from Josh Hubbard and the Bulldogs. Later in the first half, the Bulldogs up 26-19. Cardamine tries the lane, throws the lob to Corey Chest, who puts it down. Now that one would cut the deficit to 5. Chris Beard is going to need some more energy on the defensive end of things. Now final minutes before the half, off of the Rebels' miss, Jabori McGee grabs the ball, throws down to the court to Sergey Marquio, who slams down the wide open dunk. Mississippi State would hold the lead for the first half, and the Rebels refuse to quit, though. The Bulldogs go into the locker room up 30-27 now after the first 20 minutes. Couldn't hold on to that lead, though, falling to Ole Miss with the final score of 68-67. And Mississippi State women's basketball was right there Thursday night, pushing number 5 Vanderbilt down to the final minutes in a tough, hard-fought loss at the hump. And no one was happy with that result, but the effort was there. The Bulldogs turned the page quickly back at home Sunday, looking to get back in the win column. Now it won't be easy with number 7 Kentucky coming to town. For State, though, offensively, Maddie Francis continues to lead the way, scoring 15 points for the third straight game in that Vanderbilt game. And Sunday features a big-time matchup in the paint with two of the SEC's best shot blockers going at it, as Kentucky's Clara Strack is tied with Francis for the conference lead. Head coach Sam Purcell knows his young team will need every bit of energy, and he's calling on the hump to bring it.
We all know the last game, right? Nobody was happy about that. Nobody wants to lose to them. So what do you do and show up? You got top 5. You either can fold or you can fight like heck for 4 quarters. And again, there is no moral victories, but I saw fight. If they don't believe, I don't know what to tell them. You're right there, and that's what I also want to tell my fan base. You got a chance Sunday, all right? Kentucky. You watch. I know it's simple. If they're not playing hard and they're not diving and scrapping and they're not finishing game, I wouldn't show up either. But they are. They are. We're young, all right? And I keep on saying, protect home, still one on the road, and we got a big one here against Kentucky that let's sell this thing out and give that extra spirit that my team needs right now.
For the second time in just 3 weeks, number 16 Ole Miss women's basketball is set to see a familiar foe, this time on the road in Athens. The Rebels opened SEC play in style back on January 1st, rolling a 79-62 victory over Georgia, and it was a well-balanced night for Ole Miss. 5 players reached double-doubles. Led by Cody McMahon, the Rebels superstar that poured in 24 points. Latasha Lattimore and Christina Walla also made their mark, adding 13 and 12 in that win. Ole Miss comes in with a bye week under their belt, giving the Rebels extra time to watch film, make adjustments, and even turn the scouting report over to the players. Head coach Jolette McQuinn says that fresh look and player-led scout could be the difference as both teams look to improve from their last meeting.
I really respect them. I think they're a tough team, especially at Georgia. I think they're going to do the same things that we're going to do. We're going to look at the film and we're going to see what we did well, and then we're going to see what we didn't do so well and try to correct those things. And I think they're going to do the same thing. So it's going to come down to the team that shows the best improvement from game to game. I'm going to have my team do a scout on them because we just play them as fresh and we have time. And my team is adventurous like that, so I think that they'll really appreciate doing a scout against an opponent.
Well, Ole Miss football continues to feel the aftershocks of a historic season as another key piece of that run is now heading out the door. Rebel wide receiver Caden Lee has entered the transfer portal, adding to a growing list of departures that make it feel like this Ole Miss team is slowly coming apart. Lee was a reliable target in 2025, hauling in 44 receptions for 635 yards and 3 touchdowns, playing a critical role in one of the most memorable seasons in program history. In his official statement, he made it clear that this wasn't the plan, saying, quote, "Leaving Ole Miss was never even a consideration, but circumstances beyond my control have prompted me to take this path as I consider my senior season." Now to another void to fill for Pete Golding and company, and more questions about what this roster will look like moving forward.